Welcome! You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown's Odyssey to the Oscars, where we bring the Academy Awards home on a budget. I don't know about you, but I've had it with these doggone snakes on these doggone trains. You wanna know why? I'm just enjoying my leisurely stroll through the city, on the subway, on a cable car that's nearing its last ride, and guess what? Out of nowhere, a murder takes place. Not just one, but several murders. Every passenger a suspect. My commute to work just got a whole lot longer and a whole lot stranger. Welcome to the train ride to and from hell. And not just one train ride, we have 3 train rides. 1 in the book and 2 on DVD. We're going to start with the book first. Actually, we're going to tie this into the DVD train ride here. So, purchased for $7.98 off of Amazon. The DVD just stopped, sorry. We have here on the left, Super, the 20th novel by acclaimed novelist and former anchor and executive editor of the PBS NewsHour, Jim Lehrer. May he rest in peace. And on the right, purchased for $2.69, same price as The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, which I'll review after these two. Murder on the Orient Express from 20th Century Fox, featuring an all-star cast assembled by director Kenneth Branagh, who leads the cast as one of the great murder detectives of all time, Hercule Poirot. So let's get started with Super first. It retails for $25 in the US and $29.95 in Canada. In a tradition of Murder on the Orient Express, Jim Lehrer brings together a cast of characters as fascinating as the historic train that will carry them from Chicago to Los Angeles. That would be the Santa Fe Railroad's famous super chief, the Train of the Stars. So we find it in April of 1956, embarking from the Windy City for its trip across the plains to the West Coast, with an amazing spectrum of passengers. A once great Hollywood producer by the name of Darwin Reinhardt, a millionaire, Otto Wheeler, the king of cinema, the pioneering heartthrob, Clark Gable, and former President Harry Truman. As the super chief pulls out of Dearborn Station, the passengers, famous and infamous, anonymous and enigmatic, can't possibly imagine what lies ahead. For as the train gains speed, a series of deadly events unfolds. Full of remarkable detail and passion for a lost world of opulence and all its intrigue and delights, Jim Lehrer's Super spins a complex web of suspense. The twists and turns will keep readers turning the pages at top speed to finish one of the most captivating stories of Lehrer's prolific career. This is a Random House publication. Now for Murder on the Orient Express. Kenneth Branagh directs and leads an all-star cast, which include Johnny Depp, Josh Gad, Penelope Cruz, Leslie Odom Jr., Willem Dafoe, Michelle Pfeiffer, Judi Dench, and Daisy Ridley. In this stylish, suspenseful, and thrilling mystery based on the best-selling novel by Agatha Christie and a classic 70s film. Everyone's a suspect when a murder is committed on a lavish train ride, and a brilliant detective must race against time to solve the puzzle before the killer strikes again. This version of Murder on the Orient Express, as Peter DeBrude's of Variety says, is a timeless classic that will keep audiences guessing. Special features include an intimate portrait of Agatha Christie, a conversation about Hercule Poirot, deleted scenes, plus commentary from director Kenneth Branagh and screenwriter Michael Green. No, not that Michael Green, as in Kid Behind the Camera. We're talking Michael Green, famed and infamous screenwriter. I don't know if you could call a Murder on a Train ride cool, sexy, and powerful, but given the all-star cast here, those are not that hard of attainable goals for this film. Which is rated PG-13 for violence and thematic elements, and it has a running time of... Let's see if we can find the running time here. Just under 2 hours, 114 minutes. You know why they're both connected? I'll tell you why. Because it takes a little bit of patience, actually the patience of a saint, to try to figure out who is the perpetrator or the perpetrators of the murder or murders committed on both of these trains. Both of these examples of murder on a train actually take style over progressive sustenance. You wanna know why? because both go on and on and on about the opulence and the grandeur and the splendor of the eras in which both of these projects take place in. Both of these crimes, I should say. So, with an Agatha Christie novel and with a Jim Lehrer novel, you really need to be patient. But, patience aside, I bet you'll have no trouble taking your small, leisurely time to figure out who the murderers are, because, well, the style is captivating. The visual style and the imaginative style, respectively for Murder and on the Orient Express and Super by Jim Lehrer, you get to imagine more of the opulence in here than you do with here, because, well, it does the imagination for you. And all that imagining is done by Kenneth and Michael, and of course, the A+ team behind the scenes, all supported by Patrick Doyle's original score, and three songs from the era, although incorrectly placed. However, we have here the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, which is a bit more progressive than these two. This takes sustenance over style. And as you can see, it's a blockbuster rental, previewed for $14.99, and yet I got it for $2.69. We have here a couple of A-listers highlighting the film, conducting this train ride from hell: Denzel Washington and John Travolta. It's just an ordinary day for subway dispatcher Walter Garber of the MTA, until a vicious gang of criminals led by the mysterious Ryder hijacks one of the city's train cars. The ransom? $10 million. The deadline? 1 hour. Now Walter is thrust into a race against time to save the lives of all the innocent hostages on board and stop Ryder from getting away. This film is directed by Tony Scott, from a screenplay by Brian Helgeland of Man on Fire. And it has a running time of 106 minutes, slightly less than Murder on the Orient Express, and definitely more gritty and more, well, friendly for the modern action-adventure connoisseur than Murder on the Orient Express is, because this is a lot more progressive and fairly fast-paced. Definitely more faster-paced than Murder on the Orient Express. Is it as enjoyable as Murder on the Orient Express? Well, I'll leave that up to you to decide, but I did watch this in its entirety. And I have to say, it was quite delightful to see, even if the ending was a bit too anticlimactic, as my executive assistant Jeff says. Special features: No Time to Lose, The Making of Pelham 1, 2, 3, The Third Rail, New York Underground, From the Top Down, Stylizing Character, plus commentary with director Tony Scott, writer Brian Helgeland, and producer Todd Black, and marketing Pelham. Here's a piece of trivia for you. John Travolta did not market this film in any way because he was still reeling from the aftermath of his son's suicide. Jet. He released a statement thanking his Sony Pictures colleagues, and I hope the moviegoers out there for supporting the film and helping to market the film in their own ways when the movie came out in June of 2009. By the way, James Gandolfini as the unnamed mayor of New York. Well, that is just an all-too-brilliant casting choice right there. Very delightful. Murder on the Orient Express? I confess I haven't seen it, but I plan to see it soon. And I do hope it is as spectacular as Pete Hammond of Deadline claims it to be. However, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't think so. This has a bit over 50%. Not really rotten, but something you really shouldn't be on the lookout for, despite its all-star cast, and of course, its obvious visual appeal. So here's a question for you. Would you take style over sustenance? Would you take your leisurely time perusing through the Orient Express or the Train of the Stars just to admire all of the opulence and grandeur and magnificent splendor and allure of yesteryear? Or would you rather get it over with on a subway in New York, just for the sake of getting your day started in a real action-like way? The book Super by Jim Lehrer earns 4 claps on the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, gets 4.5. For a total of 8.5 out of 10 claps, Murder on the Orient Express will remain unrated until I see it in its entirety, although I did see a couple of trailers, and I have to admit, I am intrigued to watch the whole thing. I don't know what your opinion's gonna be on either of these three items, but I know the majority consensus ahead of time. We're all better off taking the bus. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow's another awesome day, so long as I catch you on the thrift side. Until then, buckle up and stay golden.